When you think about star Arizona quarterbacks, I personally think of Khalil Tate, but for the most part, the Wildcats have struggled with quarterback play over the last few years. Grant Gunnell originally was a top 100 recruit coming out of high school and could have played for Ohio State, Alabama, or LSU, but for some reason his ranking dipped at the end of it, and he's a guy who is going under the radar big time. The supposed quarterback whisperer Kevin Sumlin has a chance to develop more of a pro-style quarterback with Gunnell, and it looks like Grant could become a young star in the making, a potential NFL quarterback in the future, and the best Arizona gunslinger since Nick Foles. But who is Grant Gunnell, and how did he get to this point, and why does he have so much hype around him? Today we will briefly talk about Grant's story, his time at Arizona so far, and what could make him a future star. But first, if you love college football, be sure to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like, share it with your friends, comment your thoughts, suggest a future video topic, and stay until the end, as this will help the video get in the algorithm, which will help the video do better, and I can make you guys more content. Be sure to turn on post notifications so you never miss another upload as well. And now let's meet the future of Arizona football, Grant Gunnell. Like many, Grant grew up in the fertile football grounds of Texas. He was born and raised in the suburb called the Woodlands, and he was a quarterback at heart from a young age. He's always supposed to be good, as he started almost immediately at St. Pius High School, and he just had the it factor from the very beginning. He was slowly becoming a Texas legend, and he was starting to gain major traction on the recruiting trail. He was seen as a big-time quarterback, but he already knew where he wanted to go. He had initially committed to Texas A&M, but a year later would have a change of heart when the Aggies parted way with head coach Kevin Sumlin. The 6'6", 222-pound passer wound up choosing Arizona over the likes of Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, and Oregon. He was originally ranked a 4-star recruit and helped the program's recruiting class tremendously, but things changed. As a senior, he would pass for 4,752 yards and 53 touchdowns with only 7 picks. He also added 533 yards and 8 scores on the ground. But somehow his recruiting ranking would drop, and he'd only be considered a 3-star recruit, which makes absolutely no sense. He totaled 16,108 passing yards and 195 touchdowns, both Texas State records. In 3+ seasons as a starting quarterback for St. Pius High School, he threw only 28 picks on 1,471 career passing attempts. He also gained 1,621 rushing yards and 28 touchdowns on the ground. So why on earth would they drop his ranking? I can't even answer that question for you. Where was he going to go? Well, he would end up following the coach he wanted to play for. After Kevin Sumlin took the job at Arizona, Gunnell knew he wanted to go there, and he committed to the Wildcats, as I said earlier. Grant was a USA Today All-American second-team member his senior year, but his recruiting ranking had dropped. According to 24/7 Sports, Gunnell was a 3-star recruit, the number 15 pro-style quarterback, and the 444th best player in the class of 2019. So, he was going to have to prove some people wrong, and he was a hidden gem coming out of college. Going into Arizona, he was always seen as a successor to Khalil Tate. He would play in 8 games with 3 starts at quarterback his freshman year, and he would finish the season with 1,239 passing yards while completing 101 of 155 passes. He had thrown 9 touchdowns to just 1 interception on the year, registered a completion percentage of 65.2, which would rank 4th all-time in the history of Arizona for a quarterback with at least 100 attempts, and it was also the best ever by a freshman. He finished with a pass efficiency rating of 150.18, which ranks 5th in single-season program history at Arizona as well. He made his collegiate debut in a home opener against Northern Arizona and completed 9 of 11 passes for 151 yards and 3 touchdowns, including a 75-yard touchdown. He made the first start of his collegiate career in a home win over UCLA, and he completed 29 of 44 passes for 352 yards and another 75-yard touchdown. He was named the Pac-12 Freshman of the Week because of that, and everyone saw the potential this dude had. He completed all 7 of his passes for 68 yards and a touchdown in relief action against Stanford. Going into 2020, there was no question he was going to be the starting guy, and he was ready for the pressure of being the face of the program. He started his first game of the 2020 season against USC, and he played really well. He completed 24 of 36 passes for 286 yards and 3 touchdowns with only 1 pick. Arizona really should have won that game, but USC pulled off the miracle, and this was probably a tough loss for Grant. So why is everybody so high on him? Well, first, Pro Football Focus rated him as the second best quarterback in the Pac-12 going into the year, and this came with some outrage, as he was rated higher than the quarterback of their rival school, Jaden Daniels. Maybe according to some of the advanced stats he was better, but many thought this was an unfair ranking, as Daniels had become one of the best quarterbacks in the Pac-12, won a ton of big games, and showed so much flash, compared to Gunnell only playing a little bit. But it is what it is. Let's go back a few months though, and see how he handled the whole quarantine thing. He was tasked with keeping the team together when they couldn't physically be together in the spring and the summer. He represented the Wildcats during the virtual version of the Pac-12 media days as well, so he was seen as a leader by the coaches, and they put a lot of responsibility on him. Nobody liked COVID, but Grant had a way of making the best of it. "I don't even know how many months of straight work I put in," he said. "It sucks having to quarantine and the season being pushed back, but this might have been the best thing for me as a player." He was young and was already viewed as a leader of the team, which is exactly what you want from a quarterback. He had a lot of time to get better on his own, and I definitely think he used it to the best of his ability. Cornerback Christian Roland Wallace said, quote, "He's a natural born leader." One scout even said, "Although there's still work to be done, Gunnell showed great promise as a freshman, but it's a small sample size and he still has much to prove." Grant helped support the "We Want to Play" movement and even sent a letter to the California governor to get the Pac-12 football back up and running. Most of his teammates didn't even know that, and it just shows how unselfish of a guy this dude is and how much he loves the game of football. Someone said, quote, "Grant has unbelievable passion for the game, and he wants to be really good at it." This was coming from the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach who recruited Gunnell at A&M before they both made their way to Tucson. He said, quote, "This is something that he had worked for basically his whole young life up to this point, and that was to play major college football. It's just very, very important to him." He even helped Arizona keep one of their best players on the roster. When offensive lineman LAKEY announced his intent to transfer back in September, Gunnell led the recruitment effort to bring him back. He called him multiple times and even had dinner with him. That next day, he changed his mind and decided to stay with Arizona. Stuff like that is what makes Grant a special player and kid, but he's also seen as a potential next-level guy. He is 6'6" for starters, super mobile, has a great arm, and has all the tendencies you want in a pro quarterback. But in order for him to really jump the ladder and actually get serious consideration, he needs to prove it on the field, put up some big numbers, and win some big-time games for the Wildcats. Before we go, I want to tell you guys what head coach Kevin Sumlin had to say about Gunnell after 2 weeks of practice. He said, quote, "When adverse situations arrive, I think they reveal some people's true character and how to handle those situations. Even if you don't have the experience in it, it becomes important and leadership becomes important. So I think he stepped forward and really done some things to grow and help grow our team together during the offseason during a difficult time. And so I think it's from a leadership standpoint, he has made some serious strides over the last 7 months." I personally watched the USC game this past weekend and thought Gunnell looked really solid. We'll just have to wait and see what happens though, and I wish the best of luck to Grant this season. I'm excited to watch Arizona football, and I'm excited to see if Kevin Sumlin's going to develop him. But what do you guys think? If you're an Arizona fan, let me know what you think of Gunnell. If you're a fan of college football, let me know what you think as well. And also drop another quarterback or young player I should do next. Before you go, be sure to give the video a like, share it with your friends, comment your thoughts, suggest a future video topic, and check out all my other videos on the end screen. Before you go, make sure you have subscribed, and until next time, peace.